Welcome back to part 4 of my short-term rental series. And today we're going to talk about becoming a superhost, protecting your and tax implications. Also, stay tuned to the end for a pro tip for creating the best experiences. This is brilliant and honestly fun. A much sought-after reward for any Airbnb host, the Superhost badge is a privilege granted to those who simply go beyond offering a space for people to stay and fully take on the role of being a host. There are 4 boxes you need to tick, which are evaluated at 4 intervals during the calendar year. So at least 80% of your reviews have to be 5 stars. So this translates to a 4.8 star average review. You must never cancel a reservation made by a guest, or at least less than 1% of the time, so 1 out of 100. You must quickly respond to questions, so within 24 hours you need to be responding to messages. And you must have a response rate of more than 90%, meaning that you actually respond to most of your messages, communication. Now, you must host at least 10 Airbnb trips, which includes offering Airbnb experience. There is no minimum tenure to become a superhost. You just simply must meet the criteria by the assessment period, which happens every 3 months. If you do this, you can earn superhost status. Every time Airbnb checks that you've met the Superhost status criteria, they will look over your last year as an Airbnb host to review your performance. There are some cancellations that won't disqualify you. The requirements for no more than 1% cancellation rate is pretty strict, but luckily there's situations where Airbnb will not count the cancellation against your percentage. All of these will require proof or documentation in order to verify that you aren't just making excuses. The death of a host, guest, co-host, additional guest, or immediate family member, or caregiver, but they will require a death cert, obituary, or police report naming the individual. An unexpected illness or injury affecting the host or member of the traveling party, but they will require a physician's note confirming the illness, injury, dated after the trip was booked. So if you got that injury before the trip was booked, you didn't block it off, sorry. Government mandated obligations, so jury duty, travel restrictions, court appearances, military deployments. Yes, that means you can cancel all your bookings if you're suddenly deployed with official orders to back up your statement. They will want to see that. Unforeseen property damage, maintenance, and amenity issues to the Airbnb listing, if these make it unsafe, or prevent the guests from accessing basic amenities like running water. These cannot be planned renovations, but rather something that just broke. If your water heater goes out or your plumbing goes down the tubes or whatever. So transportation disruptions that make it impossible to travel to your destination. Train, bus, or ferry cancellations where no alternate trips were available on the same day. And so like, for example, the volcano when it happened in Hawaii. Can't get to the place, yeah, that's legit. There are also some circumstances that require special review in order to confirm that you were directly affected and are therefore excused from the cancellation penalty. Open homes reservations, so like natural disasters, terrorist activity, civil political unrest, endemic disease or illness, travel restrictions, safety and security threat advisories, essential utility outages, changes to visa or passport requirements, and there's a lot more information on that. Just go take a look at it on the Airbnb website if you have some crazy extenuating circumstances. Now there's also an Airbnb Plus. So the Airbnb Plus program has eligibility requirements for hosts and their homes. Superhosts will automatically meet these host requirements, but each Plus home must meet standards for being thoughtfully designed, well equipped, and well maintained. Airbnb Plus is available to private rooms and entire homes, provided that they meet the program standards. If you're a Superhost and Airbnb Plus is available in your city, they might send you an invitation to the program. And if you accept the invitation, there will be an in-person home visit to go through a checklist in order to ensure that you meet the standard for Airbnb Plus. There is a charge for that, whether you meet the standard or not, so make sure it's worth it, but you'll get more booking. As with all real estate investments, it is better to protect against your downside with insurance. Airbnb provides insurance for every host, but I believe is worth getting some additional insurance too. So the homeowner's insurance policies generally carry a business activity exclusion. In other words, any claim involving a business activity could rightfully be denied. Since Airbnb hosting is considered a business activity, homeowners insurance isn't going to cut it for you. The Airbnb Host Protection Insurance Program provides primary liability coverage of up to $1 million per occurrence in the event of third-party claims of bodily injury or property damage. The program covers certain property damages in common areas. Landlords are also covered in certain cases when claims are filed against them due to a guest suffering an injury during the stay, or if a guest damages building property. What Airbnb doesn't cover include, but are not limited to, property damage due to things like pollution or mold, damage or injury from something done intentionally, not an accident, loss of earnings, loss, theft of items in your home. Proper Insurance is a company specifically designed to insure your short-term rental. It will replace your homeowner's or landlord policy and include personal liability insurance, which covers issues that you inadvertently cause. They also carry a $1 to $2 million commercial general liability, which would suffice as the underlying policy for a commercial umbrella policy. Proper sells commercial umbrella policies too, if that interests you. And I'll have a link below to Proper. They're pretty cool. You should check them out. Just jump on a call with them. Can't hurt. VRBO recommends Proper Insurance as their preferred vendor for comprehensive vacation rental insurance in the US. Now, Proper has an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau with only one complaint on file in the past 3 years. And I have a source linked, but it's in the article. Renter's insurance is the missing link to cover your personal property against things like fire and theft. I have a renter's insurance policy from USA, and I have for years. Honestly, you should have one no matter where you live. I even had one when I lived in the barracks, just in case somebody had stolen my crap. There is an inherent risk with letting strangers stay in your home, so make sure you have renter's insurance to cover your valuable possessions in case they just disappear. Tax implications. You must pay taxes on the income earned through Airbnb. I know that's a drag, but that's the way life works. That also means you get to write off business expenses to offset your income. According to taxact.com, you must report the income and expenses from Airbnb rentals on your tax return if you do the following: rent your house out for more than 14 days in a year, live in the house for more than the greater of 14 days or 10% of the number of days you rent the house. So essentially, if you do this full time, you're going to need to. Airbnb will report gross earnings for all US hosts who earn over $20,000 and have 200 plus transactions in the calendar year. If you exceed both IRS thresholds in a calendar year, Airbnb will issue you a Form 1099-K. Now, this means you can apportion mortgage interest and taxes. So if you only rent a room of your house, you can still deduct business expenses. You cannot, however, deduct 100% of your interest and taxes because you still live there. So you need to figure out which percentage of your home is Airbnb hosting space and what portion is your living quarters. For example, a 2,000 square foot home that rents out 500 square feet to guests would be able to deduct 25% of their expenses, such as interest, taxes, utilities, etc., that are billed to the entire home. Now, you can deduct 100% of your host fees from Airbnb or beyond pricing or any other support or services related to your hosting business. Those are all business related. You can write them all off. Don't forget to verify your state and local government imposed taxes for short-term rentals. So I know that Hawaii has a transient accommodations tax of 10.25%, for example. You need to ensure that you do some homework on your area and confirm what tax requirements you will need to meet in addition to the federal tax requirements. We're going to talk about the cost of doing business. Airbnb hosting requires a decent amount of upkeep. You must continually restock toilet paper, towels, shampoo, conditioner, coffee, and other amenities. That being said, the cost of upkeep once your listing is furnished is fairly negligible compared to the income generated by guests. When someone books your room, Airbnb charges a standard host service fee of 3% of the listed price. Now, this can increase up to 5% depending on the cancellation policy you choose. For example, if you set $100 for a room per night and someone stays a single night, you will receive $97 and Airbnb will receive $3. Airbnb also charges a guest service fee to the person who rents the space. Now, this is between 5 and 15% depending on several variables such as listing details, duration of their stay, but that fee only affects the guests and not the Airbnb host getting paid for Airbnb hosting. For a new host, there is a 30-day buffer in place before the first payment can be made. That means you will have to wait 30 days to get paid. However, after 30 days, you will only have to wait a standard 24 hours for payment to hit your account. However, even after Airbnb has made the payment, other elements can delay the process. For example, weekends, public holidays, other processing delays on your bank side or whatever. Processing delays will occur for ACH and direct deposit up to 3 business days. But if you're really that worried about it, I mean, you're probably cutting corners pretty close. Bank transfers or international wires will take 3 to 7 business days. PayPal takes 1 business day. Western Union takes a business day for US Pacific time. Here's that pro tip. Stay at a few Airbnbs, guys. Every host is different, and staying at a few Airbnbs could really help you come up with some creative ways to improve your listing. For example, I stayed somewhere once that left a bottle of wine next to the bed for us. That's where I got that idea. You may also learn a few things not to do. I've seen a couple things that I'm like, oh, I wouldn't do that. And that's good because now I know. And you'll probably save some money too. It is pretty easy to find Airbnbs that are more affordable than local hotels, and you can have multiple people crash at the Airbnb with you due to it being a full house. When I attended the 10X Growth Conference in January 2019, we had 9 people crash in a 3-bed, 2-bath house. Now, for the record, I didn't book this listing, so I don't know if we went over the host allowable occupancy. I didn't see the rules. So definitely don't recommend violating the host policies, as they can ask you to vacate the property. That being said, we all saved a fortune on Miami-priced hotel rooms and had way more fun crashing together. We drank beer, talked real estate, and networked late into the night. I even recorded 3 or 4 podcast episodes in the backyard. Now, I'm going to leave a link below, so if you do want to go out and try out some Airbnbs, you'll get a $55 voucher for your next Airbnb trip. Definitely can't complain about free money. If you haven't watched my video about getting started with short-term rentals, go watch that now, but hopefully you watched these in order and you made your way through. Either way, if you have any other questions about short-term rentals or you want to know how mine are going, definitely shoot me a message or comment down below. I am opening up next week a 2nd room in my house, and with that I should be living for free, which is pretty powerful. Guys, I really appreciate you making it all the way through this, and I hope this helps you improve your operations and make more money through short-term rentals. Have a great day.